string, another one boolean. Boolean, yesterday we discussed about how to we deal with different toggles. So next in the primitive types we have another null type. We have undefined type. Another one is undefined type. So in the JavaScript primitive types, undefined is nothing but so it is used to specify that value is not defined in a reference. It is used to specify that value is not defined in a reference. Value is not defined in a reference. So that means at compile time, if there is no value, then it returns, so it returns undefined as type, undefined as type. That means, for example, so we have a var price and document dot write price is equal to some price. Now what it will print? There is no value in price. Then what it will print? That is what the concept is. If there is no value, it will print undefined. It is going to print undefined. So if value is not defined, then it is going to return undefined. Undefined indicates that there is no value. How to verify whether value defined or not? To verify whether value defined or not, you can use a condition. So you can verify by using undefined keyword. That means what you can do, you can write a condition if price is equal to undefined. That means if price is not defined, then what you can do? So undefined is a keyword. By using that keyword, we can verify whether there is a value inside that variable or not. If variable doesn't contain a value, then it will return undefined. By writing the condition undefined, we can understand that there is no value. There is another technique. Actually, I will show you here. What is the good technique for this? Suppose we are printing some details. So .html, yeah. Suppose we are defining some details like this, some script. So we have var and we have price and the document dot write. So price is equal to whatever price is. Now you can see there is no value in that price. If there is no value, it is going to return undefined. Price is undefined. We should not print the price if price is not there, we should not print. If price is there, then we have to print. Then how you verify that? How you are going to verify? So we can do like this. We can write if price is equal to undefined, then just put a message document dot write price is not defined like this. Otherwise, you can print that price. That means now undefined is a keyword which will verify whether the value is there or not. If value is not there, it will not print. If value is there, you can initialize value or we can assign value. If value is there, then it is going to print that value. If value is not there, then it is going to just display not defined. That is depending on whether the value defined or not. But actually, this is not, it's okay. Undefined keyword is used, but this is not good programming. Why? Because what is meaning of undefined? Meaning of undefined is value is not there. So that means you are verifying a negative value. Means you are verifying a negative approach. You are using a negative approach. Negative approach means why you are verifying it is not there. Why you are not verifying it is there. Right? That means you are verifying that price is not there. What should happen? Why you are negative approach? This is negative approach. What is the positive approach? If price is there, then print price. If not there, don't print. That means not is second. Here we are using not as first. Undefined means it is not there. Understood the point, everyone? Point understood? What we said here, if price is not defined. Price is not defined means it is not there. Why you are verifying not there? Verifying is it there? If price is there, then do some work. Not there is secondary. Right? That means always we need to have a positive approach. Then how do we write like that? So because the keyword is undefined, then you can write like this. That means if it is not equal to undefined. Not equal to undefined means what? Not equal to undefined means if it is defined. Defined. There is another technique how to verify defined. To verify defined, you can simply write like this. See, we can write if price. This is very good approach. If price, this is going to return true if there is a value. That is good. We don't need to use any keyword. Without using undefined keyword also, we can verify whether there is a value or not. Just by using the variable name. If you pass a variable name with if condition, it will return true if there is a value. It returns false if there is no value. So if it is there is a value, document dot write, we need to print price. Price is equal to whatever price is. Otherwise, we need to print document dot write saying that what it is, price not defined. That's what we have to do. Now this is also same approach, price not defined. And if price is having a value, if price is having a value, then automatically it will print that value. If it is not having a value, then it will not print. This is good. Even there is undefined keyword, don't use undefined. That is not a good approach. Always use this. You will see people using different techniques. Sometimes people write not equal to undefined. Sometimes people will write like this. And which one is best is this. Negative approach is not good. Always we have to follow this approach. How to check whether there is a value in a variable or not? Just by using a if condition, you can check. Using if condition, you send the value, it will verify is that value present or not, right? This is the best way. So even there is undefined, so you can verify. So without using undefined keyword, then how do we do if price? So what it will do is it returns true if price is defined with value. That is the point. This is the example for that. It returns true if price is defined with value. So without using undefined keyword also, we can verify whether there is a value defined or right. So next important is here, when you are dealing with this one regular question asked in interview is what is difference between undefined and not defined. So what is difference between undefined and not defined? Are both same? Both are not same. Undefined is different, not defined is different. What is difference is actually undefined is verifying value in reference. Not defined is verifying the reference. That is the difference actually. For example, where x equal to 10. Just a syntax example I will give. Suppose where x equal to 10. We are defining x equal to 10. Now in this, and I am writing document dot write x equal to the value of x. In the next line, y is equal to the value of y. Like this we are writing. Now what is the value of y? Is there any variable called y? There is no variable called y. Then it says y is not defined. Y is not defined. For example, if I don't have a value in x, now what will be x? What will be x? X is undefined. Understood? Undefined means the reference is there, but value is not there. Not defined means a reference at all not there, but you are trying to use it. If reference is not there and you are trying to use it, then that is called as what? Undefined. That is the problem here. So defined and undefined. So technically the difference between undefined and not defined, both are not same. Not defined means there is no reference at all, but you are trying to use. Undefined means there is a reference, but there is no value inside, right? That is the difference. So undefined is related to value and not defined is related to reference. You can see that here. Suppose I am opening the inspect, and in the inspect, so I am using here the console. Okay. Now here, if I don't enter price, let's remove this. So where A is equal to A is equal to some 10, document dot write A is equal to whatever value in A, and B is equal to whatever the value in B. Now immediately it will show an error saying that B not defined. B is not defined. Suppose if there is a value in B where B is there, but value is not there. If value is not there, then it will return undefined. B is undefined. So reference not there, then it is going to return what? Not defined. Reference is there, but value is not there, then it will return undefined. Right? That is the difference actually. So this is undefined. Undefined is very important to verify whether there is a value or not. Right? Next important is so null type. Null type. Again, here there is confusion between null and undefined actually. So null specifies that there is no value in a variable. Then undefined also same. Undefined also says that there is no value. Then what is difference? Null specifies that there is no value. Undefined also says that there is no value. Then what is difference? Difference is actually undefined is used at compile time and null is used at runtime. That means if a value is not provided at runtime, then it returns null. Then it returns null. What is meant by value not provided? At runtime, value not provided at runtime means, for example, we declared var and A. Into that we are writing prompt, enter value for A. Now when this value is supplied, when the value is supplied into A, currently we are using prompt now. Prompt will work when? At runtime. Runtime means when you run the program. That means at runtime in the browser, it will show a pop-up window. In that window, it will ask enter value. That is runtime. If I don't give prompt, then at compile time, it will verify that there is no value. At compile time, if there is no value, what compiler will do? Compiler will put undefined. At runtime, if there is no value, then what it will do? At runtime, if there is no value, it returns null. Already we learned this. While learning about prompt, I given an example. I told you that prompt have a lot of consequences. Confirm have OK cancel. It will return true or false. But prompt have null. When you click cancel, I told you 3 consequences. With OK, with cancel, with value, without value, how it returns. That means At runtime, if value is not supplied, if prompt is cancelled, then A will be how much? A will be null. At runtime, a value is applied. So that means null. This null will be if prompt is cancelled. If prompt is cancelled, then it will return null. If the prompt is cancelled, it is going to return null. That's what it is going to happen. That is the null type, how we can define and use the null types, right? Usually, this already I showed you while working with prompt. One more simple point I will show here. Suppose we say var A is equal to prompt, enter value for A, and here document dot write A is equal to whatever value of A. Now you run this here and it will ask value for A. You click on cancel. That means value is not supplied. If I click OK, value is supplied, but that value is blank. Blank is also considered as a value. But when I click cancel, then it returns null. So how to verify? We can verify by using A is equal to what? Null. If A is equal to null, then so document dot write, we will say, please provide value for A. Otherwise, we will print that message. We are going to print that here. Now, when I run this, I click on cancel, it returns null, please provide value. You entered some value, it will get. So null and undefined are related to verifying value. But what is difference? Undefined will verify at compile time. Null will verify at runtime. If you are expecting from a text box, if you are expecting from a drop down or a prompt, and the value is not supplied, then it is always going to return what? Null. At compile time itself, there is no value and you are printing. Then what it happens? Undefined. So these are two important types here. There is one more type called symbol. But that symbol type we can learn only after learning non-primitive types, because that non-primitive types related symbol will be there, right? When we learn non-primitive types, I will tell you another. One more new type is there. What is that new type? So we have a symbol type. Symbol is a new type. Symbol is a new type. But we can clearly understand about this symbol after learning about the concept of non-primitive types. Just concept I will explain. Later we can clearly implement that. Concept is nothing but, for example, see. Means why we need this symbol. I will explain a small scenario. Suppose here we are having a update form. Actually, we are having update details. So this is update details. In the update details form here, let's say, yeah. In this form, we need to update the details of any user. Actually, we have username, some age, some address. We have some details. These details need to be updated. Username, age, and address, these details need to be updated. Now, what is the point is, actually, in the database, that information is present. In the database, the user related information is present in the backend. In the back end, here we will have a option like username, age, another one is address. But important is here now, like that several users will be there. How to verify every user? How to refer every user? Username is not good. Why? Because with same name several people may be there, right? Then what we do usually, for every user, actually there will be a user ID. User ID. Suppose this user ID is 1, 2, 3, like this we have. Under that, different details are present. Different details are present. But here in the update, there is no user ID. There is only age, name, and address. Generally, we write logic like this. So the logic for updating, we write update table where so user ID is matching with some 1 or 2 like that, is equal to 1, 2 like this. Just rough point I given. That means now what should happen is from this form, we need to send all details along with user ID also. That means which user ID you want to update, that user ID also we have to send. But in the form, if I show user ID, they will try to edit that ID. ID is not editable. What is editable is name, age, and address. That means in the form, I don't want to show ID, but it should be submitted from form. How? In the form, there will not be ID displayed to user, but it is submitted. From the form, user ID is submitted. In the form, user ID will be there, but that user ID will not be displayed. How you can keep any details in such a way that they are inside the form, they are submitted by the form, but they are not displayed in the form? There is one technique for that. Technique is actually when we design a form, in that data list, data term, we have user name and we have text box. Input type is text. And here we have user name. Name is what? User name. By default value is some John, like this. Another data term is age. So like this, I define two details. Input type is number and name is age. Value is 22 something. And there is a submit button. So update. Now what should happen here is, in this, user can modify these details. Username, user can change. Age, user can change. But when he updates, only these two details if we send, server cannot identify. Server don't know whose details you are updating. Then we need to send user ID. That user ID should not be displayed, but it should be submitted. Then we have a technique called, what we do is, here in the data term, I'm adding input type as hidden. There is a hidden field in form. This hidden field will have the value. Value is user ID. It will have a name. Actually, this is ID is some 2. And it will have name as user ID. This is user ID. And you will see that in the form, there is no user ID. In the form, there is no user ID. But when I submit the form update, then it will submit that user ID. That means in the form, it is not displayed, but it is submitted in the background. Actually, every edit form, update form will be like this one. So many fields are not shown to you, but they are used. They need to be submitted, but they are not shown to you. Right? How they can submit any information without showing to us? For that, they use a element called hidden. So what is the purpose of hidden field? The purpose of hidden field is it is in a form, but it is not displayed in the form. It will be submitted by the form. That means it is used by the form, but not by the user. So it should be available, but it should be hidden. It should not be displayed, but it should be independently used. Independently, we have to use it, but collectively, it should not display. That is the concept of symbol. Actually, symbol is there in JavaScript from beginning of JavaScript, but it was being used by software architects who are building libraries, not ordinary developers. Recently, what they have done, recently they thought that this symbol type will be good for general people also to use because it will give a unique identifications. Then we will make it available to all. So that means JavaScript made this symbol available to general developers from recent version. Before that, they were using this symbol internally. So many things are internally used which you don't know. Right? Means for general developers, that is not provided. For general developers, we don't provide. So we will provide general developers with only limited options. Suppose I told you some string functions now. Actually, hundreds of string functions are there. They are not all required for you. And even some are not available for you. But there are some string functions which are used internally by architects. Those functions are not even available to use outside. That means only some are provided to you, some are completely hidden. Right? It's like that. This symbol is also, it is not a new invention. It is like a discovery. You know difference na? Invention and discovery. What is difference? What is difference between invention and discovery? Discovery means it is already there. You don't know about it. Suddenly you know about it. You discovered it. But you haven't invented it. Already it is there. Right? That means it is already there. But we are now using it very well. That is the symbol type. Actually, it is a new type provided to developers by ECMA, provided to developers by ECMA from ES6 version. From ES6 version. It is used to provide it. Yeah, it is used to configure a unique hidden field in object. A unique hidden field in object. It is ignored in iterations, but it is accessible. It is accessible individually, but it is accessible individually. So it is ignored in iterations, but it is accessible individually. That is the point. So it is a new type provided to developers. I actually, for that we need to learn object. As of now, we don't know object. Next level we will discuss. That's the reason I said this is good to understand after learning non-primitive, but just I will show one example. See here, suppose I am creating, I will copy this example also for you. This is example for hidden field in form. This is example for hidden field informer. Similarly, symbol also works. I will show you. Actually, we have where product. Later you will learn, temporarily see, product is an object. It contains a block. So it is called object. In this object, we have name, that is some TV. We have price, and that is some price. We use a comma as separator. We have name and price. And we are using some logic for where property in a product. We are reading every property of product, document.write. We are printing property. This you will learn later. Just observe that. Now see here, I am writing a small logic to read the properties. How many properties are there? 2 properties are there in the object. What are those? Name and price. But see what I am doing. I am giving ID is equal to symbol. It is equal to symbol. It is a symbol type. And in the square brace, ID is having 1. That means now product is having ID also. But this ID is not displayed here. Refresh, it's not working. The ID is not working. But observe, separately I will access. Separately I will access console.log product of ID. I am separately accessing ID. I will just print here ID is equal to, okay. And this we need to access product of ID. Separately we are accessing that. Separately we are accessing that. Observe carefully now here. I will inspect. Let's go to the console. In the console refresh, you can see ID is there. In the background, ID is working, am I right? But it is not shown in the list. That means object is having ID, but it is not shown in the list. For example, in this object, there is a stock. Stock is Boolean, true or false. And you can see stock is also coming, but ID is not there. ID separately we are accessing individually, but collectively it is ignored. That means when anybody submits the form, this is ignored. Because it is what type? Symbol type. But independently when you try to access, it will work. Because it is submitted, it can be accessed and it can be used. So that means we want fields in such a way that they are hidden, but they must be used. Collectively, when you try to access, they are not shown. Independently, when you try to access, they will work. That is the mechanism of these symbols. Actually, this symbol is present in every concept of iterations. For example, later you will learn, we have concepts called for loops, while loops, do while loops, for each statements like that. They work with the mechanism of symbol only. Symbol is used with that mechanism. Their primary concept behind them, the symbol will be there. That you will understand later when you learn about that. Initially, just I will give this example, but later you can try after learning about object type. So syntactically, how to create a symbol where ID is equal to symbol, and where object obj is equal to, in the square brace ID is equal to some 2, like this. Some ID is colon 2. So name colon TV, like this we can define. And we can access console.log obj of ID. It is individually accessible. Example is this. So this you will able to clearly use and understand after you know about the non-primitive types, right? These all comes under which category? Primitive types. So what is the new primitive type is symbol. It is from year 6 onwards. So that is the reason if anybody asks you which version of JavaScript you learned, right? You can say ES6. ES6 is enough. Generally, companies are now currently using ES6. And if anyone asks, can you tell some new things in ES6? So till now, what you have seen new is one is so many variables and all. I told you destructuring, variable destructuring, and symbol type. As of now, up to now, these are the new. Destructuring and symbol type are the new. Next important is non-primitive types. Non-primitive types. So we have non-primitive types. Non-primitive type is nothing but, so these are non-primitive types are, these are what type? Non-primitive types. That means these are immutable, these are mutable types. Mutable types. That means the state, the structure can change according to state and the situation. That means they don't have any fixed range for value. They don't have any fixed range for value. Value range varies according to memory available. And very important, they are stored in memory heap. They are stored in a memory heap. Primitive types are stored in a memory stack. Memory stack means it works with mechanism last in, first out. Memory heap means there is no order. Heap memory don't have any order. Data is stored in random and you can access in random. You can access data in random. There is no order. However, we can keep in a sequential order. But memory heap means there is no order of reading. You can read in any order. Generally, memory stack means we have to read in order. And what is that order? The last value is in, that is the first value that comes out. Right? And in JavaScript non-primitive types are the JavaScript non-primitive types. We have array and we have object and we have map. This comes under non-primitive types. Array, object, and map, these are non-primitive types. What are these? We will see. What are these and how they work? So first we will see the concept of array, right? So actually, this concept of array, majority of people know about this while they are learning about different programming languages. C, C++, Java, .NET, everywhere, this array concept is there. But many people have a wrong idea about array, which we will have a clarity now. To any programming learner, if you ask what is the purpose of array, they will give an answer. Array is used to store similar type of values. For example, see, suppose here, see, let's say what is array, right? What is array? I am searching for array, and see here in Google, array is a collection of items of same data type. Collection of items of same data type. That is the definition. I will prove this wrong. You may ask, like, in Google it is showing and you are saying wrong. You know better than Google. Of course, I know better than Google in this part, right? I can prove that wrong, right? We can prove that wrong. See the definition, what it says, but because it is not Google saying. In Google, somebody is saying, right? In Google, who is saying? Some website is saying. In Google is not saying that. In Google, some website is saying, it is showing it. And it's not necessary that these must be correct, right? Such misguided will be there actually. So that means you see here, generally, this is a collection of items of same data type. It is showing same data type. Some collection of continuous memory, similar data elements. This is some great learning people. All right. So that means everywhere, majority of people are saying that. So, and some people, a linear order. This is what Java point is saying, right? Many things people say similar data type. That's what in Google you will see. I will show you here. Actually, so this is a values. Values is an array. In this array, 10, true, A. Are these same data types? They are not same data types. Document dot write values. I am printing those values. Are these same data type? They are not same data type. So it's working. That is obviously wrong. We can prove that wrong. Then why people give the definition? Why people give the definition, right? They are similar type. I will tell you that why they give like that definition sometime. Actually, what is the concept of array in computer programming? Actually, the concept of array in computer programming, arrays are used in computer programming to reduce overhead and to reduce complexity. To reduce overhead and reduce complexity. That is the main purpose actually. It is not storing similar type of values or anything. Even if anybody says arrays are used to store similar type values, if anybody says They are used to store similar type of values. Is that a use? Is that a use? That is not the use. That is just nature. Now the question asked in interviews is, what is the use of array? If I use array in my programming, how it is benefited? Right? This is the correct definition actually. Arrays are used in programming languages to reduce overhead and to reduce complexity. What is meant by overhead? Actually, overhead is nothing but generally, so you are using computers. You are using computers from the generation of, have you seen floppy disk? Floppy, you know floppy disk, right? You know floppy disk, huh? Have you seen it? Used it? Used. If you used floppy disk means you are not from this generation. Eh? You used floppy disk. Huh? You used floppy disk means you are not from this generation. You might be from my generation. Eh? Because floppy disks are not in your generation. Right? So floppies, that means they are, we started using from floppies and all. Actually, before floppies, you know. So even I don't know before floppy. Means I started using from floppy. In my school days itself, I learned how to boot a computer using floppy disk. Right? That means we used to boot computer using floppy disk. We used 5.5-inch floppy disk, big floppy disk. After that, 3.5-inch floppy disks came. Actually, the point is, earlier in electronic devices, data is stored. Generally, in electronic devices, data is stored in a magnetic tape. In a magnetic tape. I hope you know this. Tape recorders. You know tape recorder, VCR, right? So before the CDs, we used to use tape recorders, VCRs and all. They are storing data in a magnet tape. They have a magnet tape. And in that magnet tape, usually data is stored like this. In a magnet tape, data is stored like this. 0101 binary form. And generally, from that magnet tape, usually how data reads. Actually, magnet tape, how data reads is, so there will be a head. This is a head. Now what happens? Tape rotates from one end to an end. That means it will read in sequence order. This head is responsible for reading and writing data into it. That is the reason, suppose I am reading here. Suppose I listen to one song. I want to listen to same song again. Then I have to rewind and play again. You know that? Have you used the Walkmans, tape recorders and all? Then we used to rewind and we need to play again. That is what actually magnet tape. In magnet tape, data is stored in a sequential order. So there is no problem. There is no problem with magnet tapes. Problem started when computers and electronic devices started using disk. They started using floppy disk, compact disk, hard disk. And generally, those disks contains tracks and sectors like this. Usually, disk contains a tracks and sectors like this. It is internally divided like this. Disk comprises of tracks and sectors like this. It will contain like this. And in this, actually, there will be divisions like this. This is how a CD or a floppy or a hard disk looks like. Internally, they will be having several divisions like this. What many people don't know is in this how data is stored. In this how data is stored. Actually, in this data is stored like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is how it is stored. Not in a spiral way. It is stored in this way. After that, it will be like 5, it will be like 6, it will be like 7, and it will be like 8. That is how it is stored. In this order, it is going to store. Not in a spiral way. Spiral way is gramophone. You know gramophone record. You see gramophone records. In gramophone records, we put a pin. That record rotates round and go to the starting and stop. That is spiral. If they want to listen the song, again lift and put that where they want. But here, generally how happens is, I will show you here how hard disk looks like internally. Suppose this is the hard disk drive. This is the hard disk drive internal. Internally, your hard disk looks like this. This is hard disk drive internal. Inside your hard disk, it is like this. Floppy CDs, hard disk work in the same way, right? So actually, in this hard disk, this is this circle. This is called, that is called, we call it as spindle. That is called spindle. Spindle, to that spindle rotates round. To that spindle, this disk is attached. This is the disk, right? The disk is fixed to the spindle. Spindle will rotate round. That means disk will rotate round. And this is actually, this is called, that is actually read write arm. That is called read write arm. And you see read write arm is fixed. It is fixed here now. It will not move from there. And then how it moves? How it moves? Can you see it and tell how it moves? Actually, it will move like this. Understood? It will move like this, na? Am I right? Like viper. It will move like this, left to right. It is fixed there. That means disk is rotating round and it is moving like this. This disk is rotating round, na? It is rotating round. Am I right? Disk is rotating round and this is moving left, right. That means it reads the data in this order. How it reads the data? It reads the data like this. Suppose 1, after that what? So after that it will be like 2. After that it will be like what? 3. Like this it is going to read. That is the order how it reads. It's not in a spiral way. It is in this way. This is the nature of even CDs and floppies and hard disks. If you have your laptops with a CD tray, open that CD tray. You will find that spindle in the middle where you fix the CD. And just to see the attachment, you will see a laser light below that spindle. That laser light can move like this. That means CD will be rotating round and laser light will be moving left and right. You can observe that if you have a CD tray in your computers. That is how actually CD or floppy or hard disk works. Now, what is the problem in this? The problem is nothing but, what is the problem in this is actually, the problem in this mechanism is, so that means there is a read write arm here. Am I right? There is a read write arm. What this arm is doing, it is moving like this. It is moving in this way. That arm is moving in this way. Now what happens is, suppose here in this place, at 5 place, it left empty. That 5 place it left empty. Right? What happened is it saved 876. After that stopped. There is no more data. Then after that, next it goes here, it will store some data like that. Next time when it comes here, you can see that it will see that there is 8, means already data is there. Then it will not continue. It will go to next. Then what will happen? That place of 5, where we have 5 earlier, that place is empty always. That means there is place, but we cannot use. That is the reason in your computers or in your phones, you have space, but sometimes it says memory is full. Right? So why it says memory is full if there is some space? Right? It says memory full even if there is space, because it is unable to utilize the unused space, because it cannot jump to directly 5 position and store. This problem is called as overhead. Do you know, to overcome this problem, earlier people who use computers, what they do is, every few days, every weekly once or every few days, what they do is, they go to their programs, they have an option called disk defragment. There is an option called disk defragment. They open this option, disk defragment. Disk defragment, disk defragment. This option they will open. After opening this option, they will run the defragmentation. What is defragmentation? Is nothing but all unused sectors, it will move one side. All used sectors, it will move one side. Then again, space is adjusted. Why you people don't know about this? Because for you, what latest versions are doing, they are internally doing this. People who are using Windows, like operating system from several years, before Windows XP, before Windows 7, before Windows 7, we have Windows XP, Windows 98 and all. At that versions, in those versions, we used to use this command every few days. If I don't use this command for a few days, then automatically my computer starts saying memory full, memory full. But actually there is memory. Why currently you people don't know about this? Because this option is frequently running. That means automatically, weekly once, this is working in the background. In all your computers, it is working. You do one thing, go to its settings and disable this for some time. Disable auto update. When you disable auto run, now after 3-4 days, you will see that your computer starts saying memory full. Why you are not facing that problem currently? Because currently this option is working in the background for you. Every few days automatically it is working. Just like you see in your mobiles, you have auto update on. You can set auto update off. If auto update off, even updates comes, it will just alert you, but it will not update. If you set auto update on, then it will update. Same thing here. Why many people don't know this? Because it is already working in the background. So many people even don't know that there is an option called disk defragment. Right? Every few days, if you can run this defragment, your computer space will be correctly managed. Otherwise, after few days, your computer starts saying memory full. This problem of having space and not able to using that space is called as overhead. How to overcome this problem? To overcome this problem, if we can store values in a sequential order, without random order. If you can store values in a sequential order, then this problem can be solved. And that is what arrays can do. That is what arrays can do. That means how arrays can reduce overhead. So arrays can reduce overhead, by storing values in sequential order. By storing values in sequential order. Arrays can reduce complexity by storing multiple values under specified name. That is the main concept here. Arrays can reduce overhead and arrays can reduce complexity. Arrays can reduce overhead by storing values in sequential order. Arrays can store values in a sequential order. That is the reason they can reduce overhead. They can store many values under one name. Due to that, you don't need several names. It will reduce the complexity. Then why in Google several people have given such definition? Actually, very important. Array can store various types of values. Arrays can store different types of values. But few technologies cannot allocate different types of memory in sequential order. Hence they restrict array for same type. Understood? That means actually arrays can store different type. But some technologies have a problem in allocating different type of memory in same order. Due to that, what those technologies have done, those technologies have restricted array to save only what type? Similar data type. To save only similar data type. Like C++, Java, .NET, this and C, all these languages have restricted array to save only same type. Is that original nature of array? That is not original nature of array. Their technologies have restricted them. That is the reason a person who learns C, C++, Java, .NET, he learns that array is similar type. But that is wrong, because how you can say array is similar type? Better you say, in my Java, array is similar type. In my .NET, array is similar type. In my C++, array is similar type. Don't say array is similar type, because in every technology, array is not similar type. Some technologies arrays are similar types. So whatever definition they given is correct, but it is only for their technology. So universally, that should not be the definition. Universally, what is the purpose of array? Not saving same type. Its purpose is to reduce overhead. Right? Then why people say same type? That is because of their technology. So they missed that word there. They have to tell that in some technologies, arrays are similar type. They should not say arrays are similar type. That's wrong. Because several technologies, arrays are not similar type. They can handle different. Best example is our JavaScript, VB script. So many other technologies are there where arrays are different type. So that is wrong definition if you say arrays are similar type. But that sentence is okay for few technologies. That means the drawback of their technologies, they are telling as a definition. The drawback of their technology, they are telling as a definition. That's not good. Right? That is not the original purpose of array. The original purpose of array is to reduce overhead. This is the point. That is the main concept of array. And very important, many technologies will teach that array size can change dynamically, which is not possible for few technologies. Again, they will tell that means Java, .NET, C++, C programming people will tell that array size cannot be changed dynamically. They will tell that point, array size cannot be changed dynamically. So that means, can we change the array size dynamically? Yes, we can change. Your technology have problem. Why your technology problems you are implementing on me? Right? That means array size can change dynamically, but some technologies can't do that. That's why they put a definition that array is similar type with a fixed range. They cannot change dynamically. They can change dynamically. For example, see what does that means also. This is different types. Suppose you see here, I am storing where values is equal to a new array and it is 2. Values of 0 is equal to 10. Values of 1 is equal to 20. Values of 2 is equal to 30. Values of 3 is equal to 40. Values of 4 is equal to 50, like this. How much memory we allocated first? We allocated 2. How many we are storing? 5. Java, .NET, C, C++. These all technologies will throw error. They will say that your size is 2, you are storing 5, not possible. But it is possible. It is possible. It works. It is possible. That means again this point is wrong. That is according to you. According to your technology, that is that problem. But everywhere array is not like that. Array size can be changed dynamically. But in every programming language like C, C++, Java, .NET, they will tell you array size cannot be changed dynamically. That is true according to their technology, but not true for universal array. That means you better always speak behalf of your technology, not speak universal. If you speak universal, you should know universal definition. Right? That means always better say in Java, .NET, in my technology, array is this. In my technology, array is that. Right? Because that is what actual nature is. Right? Array size can be changed dynamically. Now the question is, why it is called array? What is the meaning of array? The word array means, what is the meaning of the word array? In English, what is array means? What is the example of an array in real world? Why it is called array? That means I will tell you in real world what they do. Suppose you see, I will search here Casio keyboard, some Casio keyboard. These are the images. This is a Casio keyboard. Suppose this is a Casio keyboard we are having. That's the keyboard we are having. Casio keyboard we are having. Generally, do you know what people call this? They call array of keys. It is an array of keys. Array of keys. Even your keyboard is an array of keys. Array of keys. Array means they are arranged in sequential order. Na? Am I right? They are in sequential order. Will you use in that sequential order? Will you use in sequential order? No, you can access random. That is what array. Array means it is a formation which forms a sequence which allows random. A sequence that allows random. Array means a sequence that allows random. It is arranged in sequence but allows random. That is what actually array. The best example, your keyboard is an array. In keyboard, you will have A, S, D, F, G, H. Will you use in the same order? No. It is an array of keys. Your keyboard is an array of keys. Keys are arranged in a sequential order, but we can access random. So what is the meaning of array? Actually, the meaning of array is nothing but array is a formation. That a formation of sequentially arranged elements that can be accessed, elements which can be accessed in random order. In random order. Array is a formation of sequentially arranged elements which can be accessed in random order. That is the concept actually. That is the concept of array. Array is a formation of sequentially arranged elements. Right. So array is a formation. Stack is a formation. Queue is a formation. These are all formations. But in JavaScript, we have only array. Other data structures we have to build ourselves. We will see that, how to build them. So array is a formation of sequentially arranged elements which can be randomly accessed. Right? So that is what the concept of array. Right? Now, generally in JavaScript, how do we define array? That means we need to say configuring array. Actually, array configuration contains two things. One, you have to declare array. That is the first. Second, after that, initialize memory, initialize or assign memory for array. These two are compulsory. Configuring array contains two steps. Declare array and initialize or assign memory for array. So, and important is, this is, that means suppose you see where, suppose products. This is declaring, this is incomplete. It is incomplete. That means this is only declaring. After declaring, memory must be allocated for array. How it is allocated here? Memory is allocated for array by using two things. One is square brace. This is meta character. And second one is array constructor. These are the two basic things. Memory is allocated. That means where products is equal to this one, where products is equal to new array, this one. These are two techniques. This is initializing. Instead of initializing, you can even assign. That means suppose where products, after that into products, we can assign memory. Or we can define like products is equal to what? New array. This is assigning now. We have initializing and we have assign. The initialization and assignment. Initialization and assignment of array can be defined in this. So the memory is allocated for an array, and in that allocated memory you can manage. So this is the concept, how we can configure the array and how we can define. What is difference we will see now. There are important points now. That means how we can differentiate, right? What is the difference between meta character and constructor? For example, see here, we are defining like this. That means where some values, it is an ordinary variable. How this variable can store multiple values? It can store multiple values by assigning an array, meta character, or by using new array. What is difference between these two? So what is difference? This is one. Suppose where some products is equal to meta character, or simply this is again declaration, and products is equal to meta character. This is also allows multiple values. Here also you can store multiple values. Here also you can store multiple values. Then what is difference between meta character and this one? What the difference you can observe here is, in the first case, we are using a word called new. We are using the word called new. In the second case, there is no new word here. Why? What is the problem with this new word? What is this new word actually? Generally, this new is dynamic memory allocation operator. This new is dynamic memory allocation operator. That means what it will do is, it will allocate memory. It is going to allocate memory for array, and it is a dynamic memory. What is meant by dynamic memory is, once we finished using this memory is destroyed. That means once we finished using, that memory is destroyed. That is the nature of dynamic always. Dynamic memory allocation will be reset every time. That means the memory is destroyed. Again, when you try to use it, again memory is initialized. That means every time a new memory is allocated for the values. Suppose you are accessing values now. It allocates memory. In that memory, it loads the values and gives them. After you finished reading, that memory is erased. Again, I want. If again I want, again it will load into memory and it will access. There are advantages and drawbacks. What is advantage is, it is safe. It is secured. Because after you finished using, it is disconnected. It is safe and secured because after you finished using, it is disconnected. But if I want continuously until I end, then this is not good. Why? Because every time it is cleaned up, every time it is deleted. The memory allocated for this, it should be in the memory and it should continue. Later also I must able to access it. Later also I want to use it. Then this is not good idea. Right? That means I will tell you one example. For example, dynamic memory means you are doing money transaction. When you are doing money transaction, you send some amount to a person through PhonePe or Paytm or something. Then first time when you are sending money, it is asking enter your password, PIN. You entered the PIN and money sent. To the same person, immediately you want to send some more money. It will ask again password. Why? It can continue the previous now. Right? No, it will not, because it is not safe. That is the reason what it will do. After it finished the transaction, it cleans up the memory. That means even you forget to clean up, it is automatically cleaned up. That means you forget to sign out. Automatically, few seconds, bank applications will sign out. They will say that your session ends. Even you don't sign out, they will sign out. That is security. These are all dynamic. Static means what? For example, you open Gmail. In Gmail, you logged in. After login, 10 mails are there. Now imagine if it is dynamic login, every email you have to log in. Is it good? That means to watch every email, it will ask user ID password. That's not good. You may say that I already entered first. That is gone. For the first one only, it is working. In that case, dynamic is not good. Which one is good? Static. Static is good. Static means memory is allocated and it is still there in that. It will be used by others. What is problem in static? It is not safe. It is continuous memory, but it is not safe. Why it is not safe? You close browser and go. Somebody opened browser and entered Gmail. Your account will open. That is not safe. That means depending on situation. If you want continuous uses, then better use which one? Meta character. If you want dynamic uses, then better use this. Depending on the situation, we use. That means what is difference between them? Difference is nothing but, so new is dynamic memory allocation operator. New is dynamic memory allocation operator. It resets. It is discrete in access. Discrete in access means disconnected in access. And meta character. So this meta character is a static memory. So that means it is connected. It connected in access. Connected in access. That means continuous memory. Continuous memory. It is continuous memory. That is not disconnected memory. The memory allocated will continue for until you end it. That is why depends on the situation. If you want a collection, so with the continuous memory allocation, then better go with meta character. Otherwise, use array constructor. Both are same arrays only, but the memory usage will be different, right? Depending on the situation, we need to configure that. That is configuring array. Once you know configuring array, now the point is how do we store values into array? How we can read the values from the array? How we manipulate the array? That is very big concept that we'll see tomorrow. Right? In tomorrow's session, we will start working with some examples on this array concept. Right? How do we store? How do we read and handle them? Right? Tomorrow we'll continue with that.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress. Recording stopped.